fastest vehicle I've ever tested, that would actually be probably a Honda Blackbird, which I rode at just over 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
It's quick enough for me. Yes, sir.
What was your least favourite job?
I did spend a couple of months selling cars. Hated every minute of it. Yes.
How long have you been a Bloodhound ambassador?
I am one of the very first Bloodhound ambassadors and started doing it in 2008.
How's the Bloodhound job?
How's the job?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
Is it good?
That's fantastic. Yeah, you get to play with a jet-powered rocket car. Come on. Hello.
Do you get paid for being a Bloodhound?
No. All Bloodhound ambassador work is completely free. Well, I am anyway. Although it could be they're paying everyone else and keeping me out of it. But no, we purely do it as a voluntary basis, mainly because I think we all, as a man, think it's really important that this country gets its engineering lead back. The main reason I became an education ambassador is I was at a Bloodhound meeting and they were asking people to be ambassadors, and they'd been round to various schools asking young men specifically, what do you want to be when you grow up? And male modelling was higher than engineering as an aspirational career. And I refuse to accept that that's possible in my country. I am going to change it by hand on my own if I need to.
Here.
Getting to meet lots and lots of interesting people. The learning about the Bloodhound is brilliant. I've learned things that I never thought I'd ever want to know about in ways I never thought I'd want to know about. So much detail on such things that were largely irrelevant in the real world. But I've got to meet some fantastic people, Richard Noble, Andy Green, these two gentlemen here with me today, both brilliant in their own ways. I actually, via the project, got to meet Neil Armstrong. Now, I don't know too many people who've shaken his hand. I have. Obviously, unfortunately, very few people are going to get the chance now because he's passed away. But, purely just through the project. Yes, sir. No, that's you. Don't look behind you.
What's your favourite type of engineering?
My favourite type of engineering? Well, no, because of the way I lead my life and chosen to do things, mechanical engineering, I love the hands-on, this doesn't work, I've taken it apart, I've fixed it, and now it works. That feeling of satisfaction you get for getting your hands dirty. Yes, sir.
If we were given an opportunity to go back in the past,
Yep.
change your life, would you change anything?
Not in a huge way, no. No, I wouldn't. Yes, sir.
What has been your most important engineering job?
My most important engineering job? I haven't done any important engineering jobs. Like I say, when I was working with the ultra high vacuum stuff, the end product of what I was working with was used in medical science, and I'd like to think I played a very, very small part in maybe saving somebody's life somewhere. I don't really believe that I did, but I didn't get to work on such large projects as either Robin or Ray, just because I got out at the time I did. Yes. Bad, yeah, I've done some dreadful jobs. I had 2 or 3 years where I did whatever I needed to pay the bills, and there's some pretty awful things out there if you're not careful. So yes, pick something you enjoy, get good at it, and stick to it. That's my tip. Yes, sir.
Why is the Bloodhound called the Bloodhound?
Oh, okay, right. This is completely irrelevant to my career. Thank you. Okay. Earlier on in my presentation, I showed you a picture of Ron Ayres. Ron Ayres is our chief aerodynamicist. The reason he got the job was A, because he asked for it, and B, he was chief aerodynamicist for the Bristol Aeronautics Company. And when you do the Cold War during your history projects, one of the main things that saved this country specifically was the Bloodhound anti-aircraft missile, the most successful anti-aircraft missile ever created that was never fired. Every time an enemy aircraft came into the British airspace, they would get a tone which meant the missile had locked onto them, and no single aircraft in the day was possible to outrun it. So they all just turned around and went back again. It was never actually fired in anger, but it was called the Bristol Bloodhound. When this project was first started, Richard was very keen to move the project away from the Thrust name of Thrust 2 and Thrust SSC, just in case it didn't work, and he didn't want to take anything away from their success. So he wanted a different name. It was called Bloodhound just to give it a name so they had something to talk about. And then later on, nobody came up with anything better, which is a bit of a shame because it's a silly name for a car, but hey. Yes, sir.
Do you think that in the future that
Oh, I certainly hope so. It'd be a dreadful world if they went, oh, that's good enough. It really would. Yeah. No, they will. Yes, sir.
If the Bloodhound was fast enough, would it be able to drive more?
Yes. Yes, the aerodynamics are such that it's virtually neutral, which means it has very little lift, very little drag, which means if it got up to speed, it could then go over water. They'll never test that, I hope.
If you had a chance to go back into engineering, would you?
Yes. Yes, I would, but it would have to be very specific.
Last question.
Last question. Yes, sir.
Are there like any other countries or groups that are competing against Bloodhound?
Right, yes there are. Right, that's a good question, I like that one. There are currently 2 serious organisations that are competing, if you like. In the spirit of competition, all of these teams are working together. There is a team in America called the North American Eagle. All of these are available on the internet, all this information is. Basically what they've done is they've bought themselves an aeroplane, they've cut the wings off and put some wheels on it. Now the plane is capable of, I think, Mach 1.5. They're hoping to get it up to 800 miles an hour. I personally don't think their machine is mechanically capable of doing it. I think they've got their maths horribly wrong. But they're having a go, and that's worth something. Our only real competition is from a chap called Roscoe McGlashan, an Australian, and he's building his Aussie Invader. Now, there are 2 ways of building a land speed record car. Historically, the way you do it is you build a car and then you just keep working on it, making it faster and faster and faster. What the Thrust team and the Bloodhound team have decided to do is to design the car so it works properly first time and then get in it and drive it. It's all about surviving the process. This Australian fella, Russian? I don't know where he came in. The Australian fella has already built his car and he is currently finishing it off. But his car should be capable of 1,000 miles an hour. He's actually learnt a lot from the Bloodhound design and has improved his design further on. It will be a bit of a race to see who gets there first. But there are a few others, but most of them are pipe dreams. Right, I think that was the last question.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you.